Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Our adventures with Overlord of the Balemurk continue. Um, on Tuesday, we played a mono black Crypt of Agadeem deck. We lost playing for a trophy with it, but it was pretty sick. Crypt of Agadeem is a land that enters taps for black, but you can spend 2 mana and then add a black mana for each black creature in your graveyard. And so in that deck, we were like hard casting Archon of Cruelty. We're playing Emperor of Bones. We were kind of like this like reanimator deck that could just cast your big stuff. Kind of Overlord of Balemurk is also just kind of like such a natural pair with this card, where it's for 2 mana you can cast it and then mill 4, get a creature into your hand, but just fill up your yard very quickly for Crypt. And then if you have mana from your Crypt, you get to just cast it for 5 mana. And then not only do you get more mana for your Crypt because you're filling your graveyard, you also get more action to cast with your Crypt. You're milling, you're putting stuff into your hand, you're really popping off. These two cards pair really well together, and I think that was like pretty evident in the mono black build. I do still like the mono black build. I'm not like don't want to completely abandon it. That being said, I wanted to try a green splash. Malevolent. It's just very weird to play like a graveyard focused deck like this that's built around a specific permanent without Malevolent Rumble to like dig for that permanent, right? Rumble is just so dang good. And so at that, once I started considering the green splash, of course, one direction I was really interested in going in was playing Gnaw to the Bone. There was a gamer who 5-0'd with a similar deck to this, like maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, somewhere in the MH3 season with Sorin, Gnaw to the Bone. The idea is that you fill up your graveyard really hard, you get a Sorin in play, then you cast Gnaw to the Bone, you gain a ton of life. 2 life for each creature in your graveyard, and it has flashback. So if you mill it with this deck with your Supplier, Rumble, Overlord, you are going to you have the ability to flash it back, which is very cool. Now, the problem with Sorin is that this is a 2-mana creature. It does have 4 toughness, it doesn't get bolted, but does die to discharge, dies to push. It is just kind of a pretty fragile little guy, and it's legendary. So it's not really possible for you to play 2 Sorins out and then try to like just overwhelm removal. And a lot of times you'll have access to 2 Sorins, especially if you have Overlord. But they just recently printed Enduring Tenacity. This is also a Duskmourn card. So we have 8 Duskmourn cards in the deck, I guess. This is a 4-mana 4/3. Not great stats, but it says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So it does the kind of the same thing as Sorin, where the Sorin -1 deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn, but it gets around the One Ring. Although you have to do it on your opponent's turn, but you can you can play it your turn on your opponent's turn, instant speed, Gnaw to the Bone. Gets around the One Ring. It also has this ability: whenever it dies, if it was a creature, it returns as an enchantment. So it is very resilient to removal instead of being very fragile to removal. It is just going to come back, which is super important for like your combo enchantment. It's also a black creature, which is really nice in your Crypt of Agadeem deck. You can even sack it to your Wight of the Reliquary or your one of Phyrexian Tower to like protect it from exile-based removal sometimes. It gets powered out by Crypt of Agadeem. The card is better than Sorin in this deck, I'll say. But the redundancy is good, and then also to some extent, just having access to this, it relieves a lot of the pressure from Sorin House of Markov. Sorin can just be like a 1-mana 1/4 lifelinker that your opponent has to kill, otherwise you're going to combo kill with it, if that makes sense. Yeah, the Cling to Dust has been very, very good. I would really like... I would love to play second Cling. The list is really tight. Like, one problem with this build compared to the mono black build is there's just not room in the mana base for Boggart Trawler. You can't really play Crypt of Agadeem. And I tried one Crypt of Agadeem as a white target, and I really missed it, and I was like 2 or 3 back to 4. So like it's very tough to play Crypt of Agadeem and like 4 Boggart Trawler and also support 8 green 2-drops. It's just not like very clean at all. You're just kind of having to cheat on your green sources. I don't want to cheat on my green sources, so we are playing. So we are not playing Boggart Trawler at the moment. You could maybe like a 1 green source for 1, but it's just so tough. We still have 28 black creatures. I'm sure some people are curious about Say Its Name. I had Say Its Name in a different build. You cannot play Say Its Name unless you have 1 mana removal spells in your deck. If your opponent Bowmasters your Ulna Tech, you lose the game unless you have a density of 1 mana removal spells to draw into like and push the Bowmaster. In the Jund Delirium deck, that's great. You play like 7 or 8 1-mana removal spells. In this deck, you play none. It is not an option. I'm sure there's a lot of questions about that. Also, our creature count is, we want to have it as high as possible. We're at 28 right now. Cling to Dust has been an all-star, just like such a good crypt to target. Once you mill it over, it's like just so nice. Let's get going. Kind of tough to mulligan Crypt of Agadeem, double Stitcher Supplier. That being said, we don't have another land. We do have a Cling to Dust and a Wraith to cycle, but I think we will mulligan a hand that is difficult to mulligan. This hand is nice. Let's keep it. Let's probably put back the Troll. My opponent is also in the mill to 6, thinking about going to 5. They keep their 6. The Street Wraiths are also like much better in this deck too, with all of these Gnaw to the Bones. You don't really feel the pain as much. Let's just go ahead and lead on the Crypt here, I think. Tech for Ava. Don't know what to trim, or if it should be completely wiped off. How many cards is this? 68. Phantom Blade. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to up to 1 target creature control, destroy up to 1 other target creature. It's kind of an interesting one. So I'm going to lead on Supplier here so that I can start just using my Crypt of Agadeems. And we do mill over a Gnaw to the Bone with 5 creatures in the yard now, so that's pretty good. My opponent's probably playing Breach combo. Probably playing Breach combo. 21 including MDFCs. Plus the 4 Aether Vials. Let's just cut the Stoneforge package. Stoneforge package sucks. I like haven't been playing it. It is probably the weak link. I would also probably just cut the Recruiter of the Guards and the Delnies and the Extraction Specialist, but if you could just cut the Stoneforge package and cut any other single card, third Recruiter. I think with the Overlord of Balemurk, you don't need the Recruiter so much, but Overlord is also very bad with Aether Vial, so I don't necessarily love playing both of them at the same time. Sort of Light and Shadow's unplayable. That's probably not one to have. This is quite the clever deck tech. Spike, I'm starting with 68 cards main, 23 cards sideboard. Now you have to actually trim them all. You probably don't want to have 4 Fatal Push and 4 Portable Hole to board. This is just too many slots for 1-mana removal spells. Portable Hole is probably a bit better. I've been thinking with Felia lately, I want to play Giver of Runes, so like I might be interested in playing Giver of Runes, although that kind of goes away from the Flicker plan to some extent. Okay, let's... I can only cast one of these this turn, so let's just cast the more expensive one, and the next turn we can win the game. We'll be able to go Sorin, Gnaw to the Bone, gain 10, deal 10 here, deal 10 here. Although we'll see if we get turn 3 Breach comboed. I think that's... Sanctifier and Vex is a card I would want to play 4 of. Probably the card I think is very good at the moment. I'm not too worried about like exiling these cards from the yard. So if they ring here, then it's a bit awkward because I won't be able to Gnaw to the Bone at instant speed. I guess I could kill the Tamiya with Sorin. That might be the play. I could also just cast Gnaw on their turn and deal them 10. So maybe if I drew like a Rumble and like milled more, that would be good. Or like Phyrexian Tower to sack the Supplier. I guess we don't really have the luxury of just Sword, Gnaw to the Bone this turn. We don't really have anything else going. I'm going to graveyard this so I can deal now my opponent 12 instead of 10. Which I guess means my opponent can't fetch Shock, which they might want to do for a red source. So like I said, they have red here. Although if they flip the Tamiyo by tapping the ring, they won't be able to. I'm going to go ahead and just cast this now to play around like Spell Pierce or something like that. Those cards might be in the sideboard, though. I think those are my thoughts. Thank you for submitting. Stoneforge package does sound weak. Yeah, I mean, it just is weak. It's been weak for a long time, you know. Should not be surprise Pikachuing over that, I think. Okay, opponents at 3. They plus their Tamiyo. They have a ring on 2 counters. They're dead to this attack. Dead if I can go Sorin, extort any spell, although not if they play a ring first. Yeah, Gnaw is an instant. Might get Breach comboed. Rumbling. They reveal a ring and a Mox Amber. Now, if they take Mox Amber, play land, yeah, they still don't have enough mana to ring again. Yeah, I think we're just kind of in the market for any spell. We have tons and tons of mana with our Crypt of Agadeems. You play Overlord without Hex Mage now? Yeah, I mean, in Crypt of Agadeem decks Overlord is very good. In Crypt of Agadeem decks, I don't think you need Hex Mage. I think you still can play Hex Mage if it makes sense in your list. I think in this more all-in combo build, it makes less sense. Overlord is still just super hard castable, and it's just a good enabler on turn 2 even without Hex Mage. But I'm not just... Oh, I forgot about the... I guess if they... What did they take? They chose Mountain. Interesting. I guess they didn't have a land. But I guess if they took the Amber and had another ring, they could have, because I forgot about the spawn token. But yeah, sometimes I will play Overlord without Hexmage now. I don't think it's mandatory. I think you can have Crypt and or Hexmage for Overlord to be good, or for Elia, I suppose. Completely forgot Hammer was a thing. It's actually not a thing. It's not a modern deck anymore. It is a pet deck. It's like Cheerios. Yeah. Is Breach a good combo deck to compete with? Yeah, Corey's been like really crushing with Breach. Like, kind of simply put, like a fast combo decks that can play Permission are very good in this format because they're just good against energy, and then they can like race and interact with other combo decks. Ooh. Okay, so they have an Amber in the yard. Do they have if they have a grinding station in their hand, they can kill me here. They could also cast Rumble, since the Amber taps for green. I mean, I guess they just also have a green floating. So they're digging for a grinding station, and they hit a grinding station. However, they don't currently have... Wait, they hit grinding station and Mox Amber? Oh my gosh. But do they have enough... I don't think they have enough mana to escape Mishra's Bauble and then escape grinding station. Or enough... Sorry, they have enough mana. Do they have enough cards in the yard? They had another Mox Amber in their hand. I see. Okay, we lose. Brutal. Brutal. All right, we're going to bring in the Surgical Extractions. Damping Sphere is pretty good against their combo, and that might just be the main thing that we're concerned about, although I don't want to cut too many creatures if I can help it. They just took the Mox off the Rumble. Oh, sorry. Duh. If they mill... They lose to you, Gnaw, flashback. They're going to kill me with Thousands Oracle. They're not going to mill me. Okay. You know, this is kind of an interesting matchup where they're going to have a hard time killing Sorin. So I wonder if I am supposed to go down on Enduring Tenacities because of that. I do think these Wights are going to be a little slow. I think I'm going to trim 2, play 2 Damping Spheres. This is 24 creatures right now. Could I ever cut a land? I have 23 lands if you count the trolls, which you should count the trolls. This might just be too few creatures. I can't cut Rumble, I think. Alright, I'm gonna cut the Woodland, I guess. Don't think I really will need that card in this matchup. Kind of weird plan. They play 4 Unholy Heat. Oh, I thought they were just on Bolt for some reason. Okay, then maybe we'll try 3/3. Aren't Enduring better versus Rings? That's also true. I guess maybe just Enduring is always better, huh? Maybe Kling doesn't do enough. Kling is like I could just Kling their Oracle sometimes and win. Kling is also just nuts in the stack. It's a pretty hard one to cut, I think. Okay, so usually with this curve, I want to go Crypt into Rumble into, if we find untapped land, we can go Supplier, activate Crypt. Points on the mold to 6. Did we lose the die roll? No, we won the die roll. Dang. We're very close to killing them. Okay, so that's actually really nice because that lets me play and sacrifice the Supplier next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Wraith, cycle the Wraith. Only one black creature in the yard, though. Hopefully, I mean, we'll have at least one more with the Supplier. I guess we'll be able to cast a Tenacity even if we miss really hard. All right, so they have a Tamio, Saga, Mountain Ring as their options. They choose Saga, so that's kind of a sign that they didn't have another land in their hand, or maybe I guess they could just also have a ring already. We draw another Rumble, which is pretty interesting. I think we're saving that for next turn, though. I'm going to go ahead and play my Supplier. Because I want to be able to sack this to Tower, and there's no way for me to do that and activate Crypt and cast the Rumble. Okay, I have only 4 black creatures in my graveyard, but I did mill a Gnaw to the bone, which is really the more important thing. Yeah, so we'll just play an Enduring Tenacity, and then figure out next turn when it comes. We can go Rumble, activate Crypt, but then we won't have enough green mana. Unless we hit another green source, because this is tapped. As a Pauper player, it's wild to see Null in a modern deck. What do you do with Null in Pauper? They do have a ring. So I have 4 creatures in the yard, so my Null hits them for 8 right now. So we're probably gonna have to. I guess if I can play Enduring. Okay, that's an interesting draw too. I guess the line is it, or should I say, is the line just tapped Crypt of Agadeem for a black mana, play Supplier, sack Supplier to Tower. I'm gonna have at least at least 5 creature cards in the graveyard. I would need to mill 3 more out of 6 to kill my opponent. Let's see. That I could do that, or I could go Rumble, and if I find an untapped green source, I could spend. Yeah, no, this just has to be the line. I also get to surveil off the mortuary. Rumble for green source. Well, the thing is, I need to Rumble. I need to gnaw my opponent's turn. That's the problem. Okay. So now I'll have at least 6. I need to mill 2 more off the Supplier. Yeah. Because this is target opponent, not each opponent, because of stupid commander. What could they grab? I guess they could grab a Haywire Might. Let's just go for this now. No, I missed completely. I do have more Gnaw to the bone, so if we don't get combo killed here, it's going to be over. Oh, there's 8 creatures. I miscounted. Okay, that is lethal. And if my opponent has to spin, like, if they negate it, because, like, this deck does play negate, then... Oh, cool. I don't know how I just totally... I guess I saw the Enduring Tenacity and thought it was not a creature for some reason. Or maybe I saw 5 card types and thought we just had 5. Draw a card off the clue token, flip the Tamio. 1 Breeding Pool against the world. Enduring Tenacity trigger on the stack, you lose 16. Nice. Might can't target the Tenacity. You can target the ring, though, to gain 2. Yeah, 2 Delirium Brained. Okay, let's go to game 3. They'd also have to have a burn spell. What does a burn spell do? Because if they kill the tenacity, it just comes back as an enchantment. Yeah, this deck has been pretty nice. I was like, I had a build with just Sorin last night, and I was 2-0 with him. Like, this is not. I was like, I won my first two matches. Like, this deck needs something else. And then I remembered Enduring Tenacity. But I've also got Crypt. Yeah, that was the main thing. Considering adding 7T yet? I don't know. It's just not a culture I'm like really involved in. The whole like 7TV, all the extra emotes and stuff. I don't know. I'll think about it some more. I'll get back to you. Right, definitely keeping this. Can this fit any bog or bog? It's very tough. I was saying this yesterday. It's like it's very tough to be splashing a bunch of green 2-drops and playing for Crypt of Agadeem, and I think I need this one Phyrexian Tower too. So I think maybe you could maybe cut like the Shifting Woodland for a bog or bog, but Woodland in your white deck is pretty important, I think. Could maybe go down like an Overgrown Tomb, but I kind of think there's just not room. That's at least my, I wish it wasn't. I wish there was room though. Did I see the abort Oculus 100 Frog list? I have, yeah. We played a different build yesterday and did not do very well. Seems like my build might have been bad. I guess we're taking this Rumble because their hand really does nothing without it unless they, draw a blue source for Tomio, draw 2 lands for Ring. They do have this Bobble draw, I guess. Seems like they've Brickadelphia'd. Shout out to Thoughtseize. Damping Sphere looking pretty nice. I think I want to maybe go Rumble into Double Spell, including the Damping Sphere next turn. Nice to mill over Cling to Dust. Maybe I'll just go Damping Sphere Surveil Land next turn and just start hardcasting Overlord too. That could be good as well. I've tried a variant of Froculus with just 2 snaps over Satoro, full place of Bowmasters. Yeah, at the very least, my contribution is that like Snapcaster is like a solid card that should be considered there. But I was also like looking at like more black based builds, and I was like, Fulminator Mage loops, Fulminator Mage Unearth was something that was like kind of interesting, but those lists always feel so tight. There's just like not a lot of room, and I wasn't really loving where I was at with that build. So I do have 4 card types in my yard. Maybe I should. Could get Overlord plus Sorin, and then I guess if they Gnaw to the bone, it's just kind of a problem. All right, let's go for the hardcast Overlord next turn. It'll be able to attack the turn after they have Ring Protection, which is kind of cool too. I wooed my wife many years ago, building her a Gnaw to the Bone self-mill deck, and today's our 9th wedding anniversary. Wow, isn't that just fate, huh? Over here watching this deck with all the warm fuzzies. That's very cute. I think there's a build of Boros with Screaming Nemesis and trying to Galvanic Discharge on Nemesis with a lot of energy. Maybe, to some extent, you would have to feel like Nemesis was a better mirror breaker than. Oh, also they just don't have their land for the ring, which is nice. You'd have to feel like Screaming Nemesis is a better mirror breaker than the One Ring, and I don't know if I would go that far, but that plan is kind of nice, and maybe it makes you better in other. It does make you more aggressive, which is something I like for that archetype. So I would be I'd be open to building the deck in that way. Probably getting back Street Wraith unless I find the Enduring card. It's a lot of creatures in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I thought there was one more. I mean, we're gonna have one more after the Wraith, but I thought there's one more, right? And we're gonna have more also after we Overlord. Now my Gnaw to the Bone means that I'm not gonna be able to, or so my Damping Sphere means I'm not gonna be able to go Gnaw to the Bone and Sorin, but also if my opponent rings, then we wouldn't even want to anyways. So we could maybe just go attack with Overlord, play Sorin, impending Overlord if we don't find something better to do. I would like to find maybe second Damping Sphere, the Enduring card, to stop like ring loops. Surgical would be not so bad either. Well, that's on my list. What do you think about an Esper version of Oculus with Frog Persist, Ephemerate, Overlords, Archon, and Stoneforge Cloak? Brother, that's not a deck. That well, you've described like 60 cards with no interaction, no enablers. is too much, too much, too much, too much. Yeah, literally just a pile of pet cards. It's not a deck, man. That's a dream. All right, Damping Sphere in play, Surgical up, feeling pretty good. It's like Oculus just doesn't make like if you play Oculus in your deck, it has to be the top of your curve. The card is too clunky for you to also be playing Stoneforge Cloak, Archon, Overlords. It's just you've clunked. The deck is so clunky. I do want to play Persist Overlord though. Or Overlord has been like so. I've just been loving this card. This card is so cool. Bit scared of Graveyard Hate coming. Well, they don't have Saga popping off. I do just have 9 power and play in a Damping Sphere also, so if they do have Graveyard Hate, you know, it's not so bad. I can also just attack and like refill the yard some, but yeah, we'll see. Do you think Tenacity, and Gnaw, and Overlord could fit into the Soul Trader combo? Nope. Yo, this is a expensive card. This is an expensive card. You probably have to play Gnaw to the bone. They're just I don't know that is there room to do more stuff? Like the kind of like the rest of your deck needs to be like self-mill enablers, like Crypt of Agadeem powers out this like very like expensive stuff too. It's very I would be closer to playing Yigra combo here than the Soul Trader combo. Yigra combo has also been a pretty impressive deck for those who have missed it. So we have to kill the Tamiyo. We have right now the ability to Gnaw for 12 damage. But 14 damage, and then let's see how much we mill with our Overlord. So I'm 1 mana short of being able to cast second Enduring and then flashback Gnaw to the bone. Let's just do this. There are 9 creatures in the yard, so that's lethal. Now, I can't Thoughtseize because they have protection. I can't win the game right now either because they have protection. I can... Do I have another fetchable? I don't have another basic. Yeah, I've got a couple more Overgrown Tombs. But if I go Fetch, Shock, pay for life for a Surgical Extraction, I could die to a Bolt. Could die to a Bolt. I'm just thinking about, you know, again, playing the Sorin versus not playing the Sorin. So let's not play Sorin. Is the flashback? Yeah, it's 3 mana, but the problem is I have this Damping Sphere in play. Although, again, I can just kind of wait for my opponent to make the first move, and my opponent may have a hard time like playing a ring and countering my Gnaw to the Bone. They may have a hard time. They might remove my Damping Sphere, then I have 2 lethal Gnaw to the Bones. Again, cannot just double Gnaw because of our Sphere. Can we play Cabal Covers and Crypt of Agadeem and Nykthos and Enigma Jewel or no? Probably not. I mean, I know that all these cards have like some cool overlapping synergy, but the reality is it's very tough to like just overlap too many combos. This is a bit easier because it's like mostly your mana base. And this card is good with Nykthos, but you just need more than your Overlords. Like if you could play more Overlords, it would be so sick. Then we just win here. We have 9 creatures in the yard. My opponent has blue mana up. They got counter spells in their deck. They could be playing Graveyard Hate. I'm gonna put the spell on the stack. I know we can try to cast a lethal spell. We can only cast 1 because of the Sphere. Okay, we're on the draw to 1 lander. You're gonna take a mulligan. Be really nice with, you know, just basically any land, obviously. Let's keep this. I'm gonna put back probably the Gnaw to the Bone. Got a lot of self-mill to find it. Opponent suspends Lotus Bloom, so probably up against Mono Blue Belcher. How are we feeling about Mono Blue Belcher matchup? Probably not very good. We do have some Thoughtseizes and stuff. Don't like to be on the draw against it either. Damping. So we have one Boseiju. Wait, am I playing Boseiju in this one? Not in this one, right? A bit too black heavy, I guess. Layer of Denial Grab. Not looking very good, I'll say. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play Wight instead of Thoughtseizing this turn. Opponents play Mono Blue Belcher. This is a deck we've worked on some too. I feel like I was the one who was like trying to, figure out the Flare plus Thunder Trap Trainer Augur stuff. Lots of different ways to build the deck. The one that's been having the most success is Tamashii plus Whir of Invention and just being all in on Belcher instead of Selective Memory. I was playing Selective Memory. The Whir build is looking kind of nice, I think. Okay, they are playing Tamashii, and now they're going to have Tamashii Lotus Bloom going, and I'm not going to really have a good answer to it, unfortunately. I think. We did mill a Cling to Dust, but we are not able to Cling to Dust this turn. They may not have another payoff. Okay, yeah, so we'll take the Whir, because this would let them Whir for Belcher, which is a big part of their deck, and then we can pass. So Surgical is good against this build, because you get to Surgical the Lotus in response to the Tamashii activation. Although, actually, I guess you don't, because they... Oh, activate only as a sorcery. You do. You do. You have Dreadscape Sliver and Leyline of Transformation naming slivers, but you use Dreadscape Sliver's ability to unearth Eldrazi's for 2 mana. I'll read that one. So it's 2 mana, each Sliver card has unearth 2. The problem is Emrakul you can't unearth. But that is fun. Alright, so we're gonna bring in the Surgicals. Don't want Damping Spheres, I think. That's not very good against them. Probably interested in Fulminator Mage. Now, this might be a matchup where we want to actually go down on the Enduring Tenacities. Since we need to have just lower combo and curve in general, I'm going to go down on the Wights also. It's nice to bring these in as creatures too. You can Gnaw to the Bone out of Belcher range. I can, yeah. That is a good point. That they can only Belcher for well, they could just keep activating it though, right? You just keep activating it. What cards from new set have impacted Modern? I mean, you can look at the Mox Field, see what we've been playing. I think Overlord has been very good. We've been playing a lot of Ygritte combo, which isn't playing much from the new set. We built this whole Jund Delirium deck with FOMO and Flytrap. That I think that deck is pretty good. I'm a fan of that one. It's kind of fringe, I guess. I'm going to keep this. We have double Thoughtseize, Surgical Extraction. If they have a Belcher in their hand, we could just win by Surgicaling the Belcher, because I don't think this build plays Oracle or any other win con. No Belcher in the hand. They do have 2 lands, Flare, triple Augur. So I think our plan is going to be to take this Lotus Bloom. Surgicaling Lotus Bloom is pretty nice. I don't think I'm going to draw step Surgical to Lotus Bloom, though. And then I think the plan is to Thoughtseize their second land. Oh, no, they found a land, though. That's kind of a bummer. I guess they play a lot of lands in the deck. I'd take a land. Well, the thing is, we could take 1 land with 1 Thoughtseize, right? So it's better to take the Lotus Bloom and then take a land the next turn. I think. They reveal Seagate Restoration here. That was at least my thought process. Oh no, Troll. You needed to Surgical before that resolved. I don't know why you think we're committed to Surgicaling there. Surgicaling the Lotus? We don't need a Surgical Lotus, we just cling it. We don't really care if they draw a Lotus that much at this point, especially because we can surgical it later. Because of the flare? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you're just prioritizing surgicaling Lotus too much, I think. Yeah, I mean, we'll surgical Belcher if we can, but we weren't able to Thoughtseize one. They do find a Belcher, so we're pretty cooked, I guess. They have flare up too, so we can't Thoughtseize and surgical. I guess we could occasionally just... We could go like Rumble into Sorin, into Rumble, into Gnaw the Bone and win, maybe. Although they have flares, so this is gonna be tougher. We did mill over a Gnaw, so that's step one, perhaps. Okay, these Street Wraiths feel like they're helping. So in theory, we could hit my opponent for 10 with the Sorin next turn. I think they're just going to flare the Sorin. Okay, decided they don't need to, which I think also makes sense. That being said, I have Crypt of Agadeem, but only for 4. Sorry, the 5 card types and then this numbers keeps messing me up too. So yeah, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to almost possibly get there. Yeah. Seems tough matchup. I feel like this deck loses to control because we have choke points, loses to aggro because we don't have enough bodies removal, and loses a combo because we're not quick enough. Happy to be wrong. Well, we just beat a combo in round 1. I had a success testing off stream last night. I have a little faith, I think. I think we like to say we lose to aggro, I think is not true. The just tons of life gain is really nice, and we can kill relatively quickly. Against combo against control, Enduring Tenacity is very, very good against them if they don't counter it. Where if they don't usually have binding. Oh, we're playing its hammer? I guess that makes sense off the Sentinel. Don't know why I wasn't expecting something else. But also Gnaw to the Bone is instant speed, which is really nice. Overlord of the Balemurk is very good against control. Crypt of Agadeem is very good against control. Control's not playing a lot of graveyard hate right now. But I don't know. Overly hating, I think. We might lose to Hammer since they're gonna infect me. Hammer is probably awful matchup, which is very funny. We do have a bunch of Path of Perils. Sumi with the 5. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate ya. So we do mill a Gnaw to the Bone. Keep that. We have only 4 creatures in our yard right now. But against 4 control opponents, after it's like all 4 on Leyline Binding. Well, I take everything I said back. I'm going to block with the Supplier to fill up my yard. I don't know. We'll see, man. I was success testing the deck off stream last night. I'm very excited about this one. The deck I thought looked great in round 1. I think the Mono Blue Belcher matchup is maybe particularly bad as far as combo decks go. Let's play some games. Oh shoot! Sorry, I did mill over my swamp. I did not mean to do that. Although maybe we could just rumble into another untapped land. Might just be okay. We're also not hitting Crypt, but yeah, I'll just take the untapped land. Play a Sorin with 5 creatures in the yard. So we may just have to Gnaw to the Bone, gain 10, which is like double time walk against the Cauldra. Maybe even like effectively more if our opponent has to like send the Cauldron to kill Sorin. I guess they don't because they have two other creatures to pressure it. So what happens if I go to 3 and then I play Overlord? They equip Shadow Spear here at 6 and then tramples over my 3 toughness. I would have to block here. Sorin hasn't been very effective, question mark. Chat, I don't know what to say sometimes. Like it's match 3. Deck looked very good round 1. I thought the deck looked awesome round 1. I'm very excited. We played against a somewhat obscure, particularly poor matchup round 2. Let me cook. Let me play some games, you know. I'm very excited about today's deck. You know, if we draw a land next turn, we have lethal. We're gaining 10 life. Like, I guess they can get out of that range with the Shadow Spear though. So I could kill something else, right? I could kill a Sentinel. I could kill the Stoneforge Mystic, probably Sentinel, and choose to play a longer game where they have to attack the sword. I'm just going to target them. Surge of Salvation. I guess it's not the end of the world, right? Since we get to gain the life, which is kind of the more important thing. We still have another Gnaw to the Bone in the yard. I'm kind of interested too in maybe going like Overlord, block, into play sword, Gnaw to the Bone. Oh, no, sorry, yeah, we should have attacked. We should have attacked because then we deal 1 more damage because of the life link, and we also gain 1 more life. There is 1 more creature in the yard too. So they probably have another Surge of Salvation. Wow, that is a great top deck. So if I play Overlord, they equip Shadow Spear here. I'm going to take 3 plus 2 plus 1, and I'll die. Live if I play Sorin. Sorin, Exert, Cling, gains you 4. Yeah, but draws them a card off the Sentinel. So I think I'm just chumping with Sorin instead. I'm using the Overlord to fill up the yard for my Crypt. Also, the Sorin dies, like my Crypt gets filled up more, which is nice. They probably have another Surge, which is kind of like the big problem, I think. But also, now we have 8 creatures in the yard. We're going to gain 16. We can go like... Can we cast Overlord, Enduring Tenacity, then Gnaw to the Bone? We might be able to. I only count taking 6 if we play Enduring and Chump Cauldron. Were you counting the Lava Spur boots and the Shadow Spear equip? So I'm playing around them drawing a land and equipping both. Although here, yeah, I'm just gonna take 5. Although I guess I could have still just blocked one of these with the Sorin, actually. Maybe what if they put both here? Not sure. Okay, let's play Supplier first. Not extorting. Now again, they definitely have Surge of Salvation. I would think they almost definitely have Surge of Salvation the way they've played this game. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to go cast an Overlord, Exert, cast Gnaw to the Bone, pay for Sentinel, Exert. And then, let's see. Do I want to get back any of these? Probably. I mean, I'm sure I should get back something. I think we'll get back another Enduring Tenacity. Got to get them out of the hand. So spin it back to prevent this. No Nourishing Shoal combo here. Well, you could play Shoal, you'd have to build the deck very differently with Peace and Love. Peace and Love. Can't attack with the Sorin. We're at a nice 25 life points. Really only losing 2. I guess they can't even kill me with Nexus next turn because they can't go Aid, Hammer, Nexus, and attack with the Nexus. They would need 4 mana for that. Troll Cycle. I think I just want to get another one of these in the hand, probably. But yeah, maybe like Wight the Reliquary just does like 10-10 or whatever is best. Oh, they just didn't have the surge. I mean, if they were definitely representing it by not equipping either equipment here. I guess they should have equipped the boots no matter what. Okay, up a game against Hammer's nice. Don't think that this matchup is very good. I'm going to bring in the Path of Perils. I wonder if I should just cut my Thoughtseizes. I've never liked Thoughtseize that much against Hammer. Yeah, it was a good bluff. I totally bought it. I don't like how weak I am to Nexus with this config. Don't have any flying blockers. Might be okay. Let's try this plan. Kind of fun to play against Hammer. Dude, if they have Sanctifier in back. Yeah, we could play Fulminator Mages. Maybe we should. The Wights are a bit awkward. Actually, with the Path of Perils, the Wights are actually quite bad. Yeah, let's try that actually. We've drawn Cling a lot today. You mill it over, and having access to it's pretty nice, I think. Kind of want to play 2. Tough to find a room, and then once you mill over 1, you don't really want to mill over the second. I don't know. Why not play Bog Trawler MDFC land? It's very difficult to facilitate the green splash with Boggart Trawler. We had 4 Boggart Trawler in the mono black build. It is just you have to make some cuts if you are going to play 8 green 2-drops in a deck with 4 Crypt of Agadeems in a 23 land deck. We also want the Phyrexian Tower. You know, it's like, you know, I think the 2 basic swamps for moon effects are pretty important. Like I'm playing all of these black sources over the first Boggart Trawler. I have 16 green sources, which is pretty close to the minimum for the 2-drops, you know? There's not room. I said this the other day, when we were playing the mono black build too, but people just want to have it all. They want to have all the utility lands without consistent mana, but consistent mana's better. That's a Yogg in the meta at the moment. I weirdly think Ygritte combo is better because it's just much better against energy. Yeah. Like I think Yogg is bad against energy, and it's like not good against the other faster combo decks. So I'm just not a big fan of it overall. All right, on the draw against Hammer again. Another Path of Peril, or another a Sentinel. Just gonna lead on Crypt turn 1. Do you think Crypt Incursion fits with this deck? Absolutely not. You don't want to exile all the creatures from your graveyard. Thoughts on Culling Ritual over Path? I could be open to that. It is maybe a little slow. It's kind of exciting. I do like that card. Graveyard the Woodland here. Fulminator on the draw seems worth the Path. We're playing both, but the thing is, like, Boggart's pretty bad with, or sorry, Wight of the Reliquary is bad with Path, and then the Fulminator gives me a plan against Inkmoth Nexus that I don't otherwise have. In fact, Fulminator is kind of the best top deck here. So if I Path to Peril, they get to draw a card. They might be able to Spell Pierce. If I don't Path to Peril and they have a Pure Steel Paladin in their hand, they're going to kill me. But I think I'm just going to Rumble and pay this turn. Playing Soul Cauldron. Not in this deck. It doesn't really do anything in this deck. Graveyard's looking kind of stacked now. Let's take Overlord, I think. Now we're making some good mana off of our Crypt of Agadeem. When playing Vintage Cube, a nice interaction I liked a lot was Wight of the Reliquary plus Bloodghast. Yeah, we've played Wight plus Bloodghast in a few shells. Bloodghast is actually quite bad in this deck because you want it to stay in the graveyard. If they have Paladin, you're still dead. Yeah, I know, but there's just no way for me to play around Paladin, so it doesn't seem like, because they just get Springleaf Drum and kill me, right? Doesn't seem like something I should be doing. But I wasn't dead if I drew Fulminator Mage if they had Paladin, because I could just kill the Nexus. I feel like Cauldron is underused. Do we feel like we found its true potential yet? It's kind of a funny thing to say, I guess. Like, this is a card we've like tested like really exhaustively pre-MH3, and there's just like a lot of new synergies that make that make you want to move away from Cauldron. Cauldron is still a fine card. Cauldron is also like a pretty dirtily card in a very fast format. MH3 Modern is much faster than MH2 Modern. All right, let's go to game 3. But I agree that Cauldron is a very good card that doesn't see a lot of play. I mean, they're just me a cracked Cauldron deck. It's so fun. I mean, Yawgmoth has always been the best Cauldron deck. Scales is also a very good Cauldron deck. And then, like, I don't know. You know, just Control is on the downswing. Maybe Scales is a deck that can emerge again. But like these are still the best 2 Cauldron decks. There's not. I don't think there's like a secret third deck that Cauldron is just like nuts in. Is it faster than MH1? MH1 was kind of all over the place. Like you had Hogak, then Hogak got banned, and you had like the Urza decks, and then that deck got banned. It's just like a long series of broken decks getting banned. Kind of hard to say. Let's try this one. Scales with Wrath in the format. I just said Control is on the downswing. There's much less Control now. I don't think we've played against Control once this week. Maybe one time. and so with this, with these words out of my mouth, then I said maybe we could play Scales. I think Scales probably has a pretty solid energy matchup. But y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. All right. 2 creature cards in the yard at the moment. Can't really say no to a Rumble. I will still probably block if they attack. I mean, they're not going to attack, but I will block. Relic is pretty nice, obviously. Grab a Sorin. Fortunately, only 3 creatures in our yard. I think we're leaving the Supplier back. I guess we could just still hardcast Overlord next turn, and then just Path of Peril, which is funny. Not exactly the most common modern play pattern, but you know we're also up against Hammer. Our opponents this league have been Breach combo, Mono Blue Belcher, Hammer. Very weird. All right, no targets for my Fulminator Mages right now, but I might be able to loop Fulminator with Overlord. Opponent's reading. Dude, Overlord in the Path. That's so funny to me for some reason. I put together a Necrodominance Enchantress deck because Control wasn't in the meta. I played Control 2 times in a row. I mean, is Necrodominance just because of Rathus guys, I guess. Necrodominance Enchantress sounds pretty sick, though. do you have a null in your hand, opponent? What's going on? Dude, imagine getting Overlord annulled here. I mean, surely this card would have been countered already if they had a counterspell for it. Uh-oh. Okay, they popped... Oh, they're popping the Relic in response. Okay, that's also, I think, good for me. Especially, I've now grabbed a Citrus Supplier, and 2 Gnaw to the Bones have entered the yard, so that worked out pretty dang well. Five cards in their hand, though. Should Living In be playing black for Overlord? It does seem pretty dang nice, honestly, in the deck. Obviously, like if Grief was still legal, it would be like a slam dunk, like easy peasy include. So it is certainly interesting that it's not legal. Hard to say what the best thing there would be. Okay, so I hit one creature here. I'm gonna grab it, I think. And then, I mean, my opponent's hand is like pretty clearly a bunch of reactive cards, and so I can't even pay for Spell Pierce on the Path of Peril since my opponent exiled my graveyard and no longer have Crypt of Agadeem up. So I think I'm just going to play my Enduring Tenacity and pass. Very weird game. Go to sleep with the 10 months. Scum Whales the 3. Appreciate you also. Seems very unlikely they kill me this turn, but don't want those to be my last words either. Oh no, my last words. I'm not dead to one hammer. I'm dead to 2 hammers only. Okay, taking 11 down to 3. Pay for Spell Pierce on this now. Although they get to draw some cards. No, I think I'm attacking with everything. Yeah, I don't really care if they block any of my creatures. Like, even this going to the graveyard is just kind of an upside here. Might as well grab the troll, because I don't have my land for turn. Alright, so with this block, my crypts are now +1 mana. We got Relic earlier. Should still have my second basic swamp in the deck. And have a little bit of faith that this could find me at least one more creature to be mana neutral here. Okay, exactly one more creature to be mana neutral. Yeah, so we are just gonna go for the Path of Peril first, and then... Yeah, don't have the green mana. I'm gonna pay for the 2 Esper Sentinels that don't cost me 11. Probably pretty sad for the Hammer player to run into Path of Peril. Alright. Now... I think I'm just gonna play Fulminator Mage. They do have the haste boots in the deck, but also, you know, with no creatures in play, obviously their mana is much smaller. I wish WotC would print more cleave cards. I'm actually kind of a cleave hater. I feel like the mechanic reads pretty poorly. Maybe that's a little nitpicky, right? But I'm not the biggest fan. Okay, so I think my opponent is going to Blacksmith Skill to survive. So I don't exactly want to pop off too hard because I need to be able to. Yeah, I think I just cast a Gnaw on my turn and then cast it on their turn. I don't think I mess with Crypt of Agadeem because I just want to be able to % kill on my turn, kill on my opponent's turn. And so if they skill, we just upkeep, do it again, and then they have to skill again, and then or surge or whatever. Yeah, surge surge doesn't doesn't do it. Surge does. But we just have, you know, lethal like 5 times in a row here. It's pretty fun. And we're getting 1 billion life as we do it. Nice. Alright, 2 and 1. I don't know, I'm liking this deck. It is very weird. The deck is also like a lot less clunky than it looks. Oh, whoops. You know, I've been like one of the earliest adapters of Goryo's. Like I remember like even figuring out the Ephemerate Gristlebrand thing on stream and it being like a really exciting stream. Jace has always been like the worst 2-drop like creature to play in the deck. It is like it's been like worse than Archaeologist, it's been worse than Emperor of Bones, it's been worse than Psychic Frog. Obviously, Frog is great. I think it's worse than Archaeologist. I think it's even worse than Priest of Felrights, and I really dislike Priest of Felrights. Like if you're gonna untap with a creature, I'd rather be Priest, and then Priest also, of course, has the upside of like doing something in the late game. Let's keep that. So, and I just don't understand how people are still playing Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Like, how people are coming back to Jace Vryn's Prodigy. after all of this time, while there's so many new good options, there's Archaeologist and Emperor Bones and Psychic Frog. Like, how are like you don't need this many 2-mana creatures. What is happening that we're just like trying to reinvent the wheel, redo things that we've kind of like already figured out. At least this is my attitude at the moment. Maybe I need to adjust my attitude some. That being said, I don't know exactly how I would build Gorys at the moment. I'm not a big fan of the second Ulamog. This is too many big creatures. I think I usually just like to play 5, 4 Atraxa, 1 Gristlebrand. You can play 6, 7 is too many. I actually think Mending is better than Indulgence, where it pitches to Solitude. It can be surveilled for value, discarded for value, and the life gain is not irrelevant, and it's pretty relevant. So I would play 4 Mending before 1 Indulgence. I wouldn't play Cephalid Colosseum. I think I have not been impressed by that card in this archetype. It's not the worst though. But beyond that, I don't exactly have like a lot of advice, I suppose. So they target me instead of the spawn, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, I guess these are kind of my general Goryo's opinions at the moment. Let's grab a Sorin. Might be doing some extorting. We have 5 creatures in the graveyard right now. Make that 7. No Gnaw to the Bones, though. Could be a bit of a problem. Yeah, the Cling has been really, really nice tool. When it's got 30 life, we can deal 30 damage, though. We can do more. Binding my Overlord, that is okay with me. Thankfully not hasting anything with Arena of Glory this turn. I am down to 7 life points. I've been at lower life totals before, though. Now, I think I really do not want to flip Sorin this turn if I can help it. 7 creatures in the yard. Casting this is a bit weird because now I can't Crypt Incursion if I find one. But I can also just kind of gain more life. I didn't find a Crypt Incursion. Oh, I didn't. I also didn't mill any extra creatures, so maybe that's going to be a problem. But we'll just go make 7 mana, cast a Sorin. And then I can either go Cling Extort or Enduring Tenacity Cling. Cling Extort means I don't lose to Lightning Bolt or Flage if they have Stubborn Denial, and I think that that's going to be more important for me. I can also cycle the Troll of Khazad-dm. Probably grabbing a Surveil land. I guess I could have also... yeah, I guess, sorry, I guess the line was just to escape the Cling again if they countered this. Although them having Force of Negation, I get super paid off. Where did the Tribal Flames? If they're playing Lorien Revealed, I think they're a lot less likely to have it. Are they? I think they're Rhinos. They must be Rhinos, right? Okay, so I can get an Overgrown Tomb, which might make it better for me to like Shifting Woodland. I guess I'm not convinced. Let's play Mortuary. Any chance to get back to Omni Woodland deck? I've been playing Team Reversion. I have like a build that's like testing out the new 4 mana card, but I just don't like that card that much, and so I haven't been playing it, I guess. It just like it hasn't been like I don't think better than what we had. I think our green-red draft is pretty solid for the green-red build. You could do some other versions, of course. Okay, so kind of bricked. Let's surveil, see if we find a Crypt Incursion. Nope. I'm going to 5. If I extort, and I'm dead. Dang, I guess we lose. No Crypt Incursion. No, Gnaw to the Bones in top 28, unfortunately. Kind of funny we have Path of Perils against Rhinos here. I don't know if I want it. I feel like our Gnaw to the Bone plan is just kind of good against them. I think it's just kind of good against them. Extort attack. No, they just don't. They have first strike, right? Yeah, they just first strike to kill Sorin. That force negation on the Cling was really, really brutal. I think I'm just running it back, though. Let's try running it back. Wight of the Reliquary seems great. Extort, attack rate, exact rate of toughness. No, they have 8 first strike on the Sorin. I guess we could see if they misplay, though. They ever think more of the Necrodominance Sorin started MH3 deck was really cool. Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it a little bit. I haven't, I've not circled back. We're gonna keep this hand. Sequencing is a little bit weird. I think I want to troll for an Overgrown Tomb on turn 1. Would March be considerable as interaction? No. You like this deck cannot play. We're not going to cut a single creature from this deck for a single non-creature. There's just not room. March is also like, I get why you want it for like the big life gain, but with all of the self mill, like you should be finding all to the bones. So can I go Crypt of Agadeem, Supplier, and then, yeah, I guess I can't Rumble, and then activate. So I'm going to play the Supplier, and if I mill like 3 creatures, then I'm going to play the Crypt. But if I do less, then we'll just set up for Crypt on turn 4 and Thoughtseize this turn. And then they do have Sign of Draco, so I'm going to take that so they just don't have a play this next turn. This is even just like a 5/5 against their Rhinos. Dude, Overlord is so good. Is Generison better than Street Wraith as Cycler? No, this only counts black creatures. Alright, so we'll just take a Wraith and cycle the Wraith. My Crypt is tapping for 6 mana next turn, which is quite a lot. Unfortunately, no Gnaw to the Bone yet either. But I can like have more mills here, of course. Hex Mage not worth it. I think this is less of a good Hex Mage deck than like Yigra or like the Mono Black Soul Trader deck. But you could play it here over like the Wight of the Reliquaries. I think I prefer Wight. Yeah, I'm just out here playing Rumble like every single day. Let's see. So next turn I have 6, 7, 8 mana. So I'm 1 short of Tenacity plus Hardcast Overlord. Oh, but can I just win the game? I can cycle this. Do 14. Yeah, I think I'm just down to drain for 14, put them to 4. Okay, subtlety, sure. So now, my opponent's last card is a Shardless Agent. They're attacking me basically to 10. Either they draw a removal spell and hit me to 12, or they draw something else. Is there any way they can deal 4 damage? These decks used to play Become Immense. They have Flage. Seems not that big of a problem. So I think I'm just gonna. I mean, I want to hard cast this, but let's just impending grab the thing back to our hand and then hopefully mill another creature or 2. And we did. So now, yeah, now we're dealing 18 more, also because of the Supplier. Tribal Flames. They're Rhinos. They're not going to play Tribal Flames. So I guess if they drew Force of Negation, we could play around it by gnawing on their upkeep, maybe. Yeah, just going down to 1 card in their hand. Okay. I don't think they can get anything that kills me. Was not expecting that one. Everybody wants to play with Overlord, I guess. Alright, now they're super duper dead. I guess they're already super duper dead, huh? Could extort 1 time. No Bogger Troll in the deck. Y'all want to play all of the utility lands ever, but y'all never want to have functional mana. I know this about y'all. There's never any interest in having functional mana. One of the worst deck ever made. My deck is one of the worst deck ever made. Rhinos. We're 2-1. I know this deck looks like a pile, but it's been surprisingly good. And it's super fun too. Oh, Boggart Trawler would have killed us from Betrayal. I see. There's been a lot of Boggart Trawler comments today. This hand is kind of interesting. I think I might mulligan. It's basically a 5-lander. When it's on a mulligan, let's join them. Oh, 0-lander. I'll put back the Troll. I guess I put back Troll because I really need to cast a 2-on-2, so I go tap land on tap land. So definitely gonna take a Supplier with the Phyrexian Tower, I think. Yeah, I can't cast the Wight next turn. We also mill over Gnaw to the bone, which is really nice. We have Sorin. Why so much hate for this deck? Yeah, I know. I know this deck looks like a pile. It's been better than in testing. I was having success with like a worse build last night too. The amount of hate for the deck is a little a little much, I think. Yeah, I gotta open your minds. I'm just gonna filter that into black mana. When we cast Rumble, and then we can activate Crypt with green mana up for Gnaw to the bone. So I'm only putting right now. I have 4 creatures in the yard. If I put Overlord in the yard, I have 5. I think we just cast Overlord here instead of trying to combo or anything. Overlord is so good with Crypt. It like fills Crypt early. It's a great payoff that continues to fill Crypt and give you action to cast off your Crypt. I really like this card. Can't get another one back though. I'm gonna go to grab Wight of the Reliquary. My hand is 2 Gnaw to the Bone combo cards, so if my opponent has like Endurance or whatever, I'm gonna want to have like a bit more of a plan B here. See if they have another binding. A Tear, sure. That's just more creatures in the yard. Tear pretty bad against Enduring Tenacity. Just comes right back. Alright, let's... I guess think for a second. Yeah, my opponent just showed me Wear Tear, so I think I'm going to go Enduring Tenacity, Gnaw to the Bone. It could be a bit better to Sorin. If I had another green, maybe I would go Sorin, Gnaw here. It's okay. We still have another one in the yard. Our Wight of the Reliquary is like a 7/7. They also force negation, pitching Inevitable Betrayal. It's kind of interesting that they would do that, because like now they're not going to be able to force the other Gnaw to the Bone. That could happen when I have one of these in play, right? I would think that they would just not, but maybe I misread the board or whatever. So yeah, I have enough mana to Overlord and Wight of the Reliquary, which will just like definitely be the line here. I think I'm gonna grab Enduring Tenacity again. No, I don't have one. Bit more resilient. It's good to play both, right? And then go for the thing too. They find lane number 3, so we should probably assume that they're going to Cascade. Yeah, I don't know why they left Betrayal in. It was like so bad. It was so bad that game. I don't know why they think it's gonna get better. Wow, misland. Tapped Steam Events on turn. 7. It's kind of funny. Right now I'm attacking for 14. We build another Gnaw to the Bone, which is also awesome. I think I'm gonna grab. Oh, I don't have a troll. Okay. I think I'll grab Supplier. Opponent is at 5 life points. So activate this for 11 mana. Cast a Sorin. Didn't find my Cling to Dust. So I don't have enough mana to play the other Enduring Tenacity and cast a Gnaw to the Bone, so we'll just cast a Gnaw to the Bone, extorting both times. And then they have to counter this or they're dead, and okay, they do counter, we just have 2 more in the yard. Having your combo card just be a flashback card is really cool. Alright, your turn. What did they pitch? They pitched Ardent Plea. Makes sense. Alright, one of the worst decks ever made, reviewed by chat. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Yeah, not worse than yesterday's decks. At the very least. Let's keep this. You can get basic swamp, surveil land. Yeah, definitely a confusing deck to play against too. What was our 2 loss? We lost to Belcher, which seemed like a very tough matchup. Very weird gauntlet. We played against Temur Breach, Hammer, Belcher, Rhinos. Let's see what round number 5 is. Amulet. Well, we got to Thoughtseize the Amulet. We have 4 Fulminators in the yard. Probably a pretty bad matchup with the we have the Damping Spheres too. At least we know not to cast the second Thoughtseize. Weird league. Yeah, the objectively poorly positioned Amulet Titan. Plays their Beseiju. Now, if they draw a Titan this turn, they'll be 1 mana short of casting it next turn, so I think we can just play a Wight of the Reliquary. We're pretty far away from Crypt of Agadeem being online, so I'm just going to surveil for some juice. Guess we can put that in the yard, and that kind of qualifies. Saga Token Plan. Drew another amulet. Their hand is Growth Chamber, Otawara, Mystery card. Where there are 2 draw steps, an Amulet of Vigor, and a Primeval Titan, the 2 unknown draws. It was an Amulet of Vigor and a Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, getting back a Lotus Field and Urza Saga. And then they can Otawara their Lumra and then buy it back. Happy to have 4 Damping Spheres. Came about as and 4 Fulminators. Came about as prepared as we can. I'm not like so sure about Surgical Extraction against these builds. I have not really liked them so much. I feel like you just want to have Damping Spheres instead. Might just be overboarding. We'll see though. Are they short on mana to bounce the Lumra? In replay, they have 8 mana. Yes, they're short. Surgical. Yeah, I agree that Surgical is kind of awkward. I think I'm just gonna bounce my Wight of the Reliquary. Awkward that my draw is like just lines up so poorly against them. I just kept a double Thoughtseize hand against them having 1 spell. But they do Otawara my Wight of the Reliquary. And they are top decking with Justice and make Growth Chamber in play in hand. Unfortunately, they do have enough mana to okay, definitely gonna impending and then play a Wight. They do have enough mana to cast a Titan if they draw 1. Okay, so we now have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 creatures here, which is pretty nuts. Seems like I should probably take Sorin over Enduring Tenacity right now. That might not be correct though. I guess I could also sack Enduring Tenacity to the Wight, so that's something to have considered. Immediately plays a Simic Growth Chamber. Alright, their draw slips for Amulet, Amulet, Lumra. Or sorry, Amulet, Amulet, Lumra, Titan. Okay, let's bring in some hate cards. I'm going to cut the Wight of the Reliquaries, I think. Maybe trim an Enduring Tenacity. Maybe trim an Overlord. Cling is so hard to cut, but I'm gonna trim the Cling. I'm gonna trim the Woodland too. Just want to keep a high density of creatures. Lumra, Amulet, Titan in that order probably, given that they did not play out Vigor on turn 2. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So maybe I, messed up by not Thoughtseizing. It's so tough to not play a 2-drop though. Okay, on the play. We have no hate cards, but a reasonable combo hand that could potentially... We have Street Wraith to cycle, we have Overlord to look for Fulminator. I think the fact that we just have 6 looks at a Fulminator on turn 3 and the potential to combo probably just makes me want to keep this. Surgical is decent against New Titan. I know it's decent. I think it's not amazing, and we're already bringing in 8 cards in our combo deck, so I think we're over sideboarding if we bring it in. Isn't Titan good against Boros? I don't know. I think it's a little bit favored. Then it kind of depends on how many moons they're main decking, how many static prisons they're main decking. I think if they're 4 static prisons, 3 blood moon, it's probably pretty close. Not a bad top deck. Swamp Cyclone. To some extent, Titan also struggles a little bit because there's a lot of damping spheres in sideboards for it and Storm. They do mill a Bajuka Bog, which is, at least it's in the yard, we kind of know where it is, but could be a bit of a problem. I'm gonna go ahead and pending and surveil here, I think. I'm gonna grab Street Wraith. The problem with the suppliers is pretty bad with the damping sphere out there, so I'm just gonna get my cycle going. What does Sorin do? That combos with Gnaw to the bone in the same way Enduring Tenacity does, or a similar way Enduring Tenacity does. So we'll see if they get Expedition Map to search up Boseiju, or if they just, grab another Amulet, yellow Boseiju. Okay, they do grab the map. They play a Crumbling Vestige, which gives them access to 4 total mana this turn. And that's how much the One Ring costs. So we'll get our Surveil land and keep another one of those. Gonna make it very hard for me to double spell. I'm gonna go Rumble looking for a land and then trying to play Damping Sphere to then go Enduring Tenacity. And so if we miss on untapped land off Rumble here, it's pretty tough. But I think we need to go for it. We do find it while also milling 2 extra creatures, which is really nice. Paying 2 life. We have 5 creatures in the yard for the Gnaw to the Bones. Turn passed. We also might actually get to impending the Overlord, because if the game is slowed down enough by the damping spheres, them getting the expedition maps means they're going for Boseijus, but now they need 2 Boseijus. Internet Doc with the 32 months. Again, thank you, welcome back. They do have this Bajuka Bog, which could be a bit of a problemo. Why no Haywire behind the sideboard? I considered it. I'm not there's just not a lot of permanent base graveyard hate, and it's not a black creature for your Crypt of Agadeem, but we could maybe be playing it. We maybe should be playing it. I was having a kind of a tough time with it. Okay, don't think we're going to need to play Fulminator right now. Could be famous last words. I'm going to play an Enduring Tenacity. And pass to my opponent. Take this down. Now I'm going to expect to see Boseiju here. They do reveal Boseiju. And they take 2 down to 17. Are any of the other Overlords modern playable? I don't think so, but I mean this one is like the only one that you can impending for 2 mana, which is just such a big deal. And it does an effect that's like pretty close to modern playable. It's like pretty close to a Rumble. I have been looking a little bit at the other ones, but they're just like none of them are nearly as good. Did you remove the crypts when you bring in Damping Sphere? No, like we need them to tap for mana, and like when we're bringing in Damping Sphere, we're mostly just bringing them in against Storm and Titan, which in theory, like this is just a really good lock piece against them that's gonna hinder them in a big way. Why not Fulminator? They can exile our grave now. Well, they can. There's. If I take the whole turn to Fulminator Mage them, and then they play a land, and then I play my Enduring Tenacity, then they'll still be able to like activate the Analyst to exile my graveyard before I Gnaw to the Bone. That's basically always going to be on the table here. So it's if they do it this turn, that's fine. We get it out of the way. We kind of just need to get it out of the way at some point. 11 cards in their hand. One of them is Boseiju. They play a second copy of Amulet of Vigor. Then they play a Shifting Woodland, giving them access to 4 total mana to potentially just sack the Aftermath Analyst. Thoughts on Veto, Thorn of Dusk over Enduring? Enduring is much. One of these cards just comes back if it dies. It has better stats. I know it's 1 more mana, but it is, if they destroy it, it comes back. That is a really dang good ability. That is worth the mana. I tell you what. So if we attack, they can make a construct and then block my Enduring Tenacity, but we also don't mind so much because it comes back. Now we could Supplier to try to mill more creatures and then Gnaw on our opponent's turn, but then the problem with that is that, oh wow, so they're, okay, well now I'm just going to go for that, since they don't have the Analyst in play anymore. Maybe we're getting Endurance or something, but we're also only milled over 1 more creature here, so yeah, not too surprised about this Boseiju. Don't have another Surveil land, unfortunately. I wonder if I'm supposed to wait on this, because like maybe they would like haste a Primeval Titan, and then I could block with my Supplier. The problem with that is them just getting Graveyard Hate off the Saga. So yeah, we'll flash back a Gnaw to the Bone. One creature short. Could you have Gnaw there with untapped land? I mean, I could not because I had 2 or I guess sorry, I only had 1 Damping Sphere. I guess that would have been, that might have been better. Although if they have Endurance, which it seems they did have Endurance, it's we kind of want them to cast it on their turn so the Damping Sphere taxes their mana. They're playing a Vesuva, copying an Underground Mortuary. This will give them 7 total mana, which does let them cast a Titan, since the Titan cost only 1 more because of the Damping Sphere. This is another ring. Okay, for some reason it looked like a ring for a second. Okay. The officially certified Amulet decklist doesn't run Graveyard Hate to grab a Saga. Okay, good to note. Thank you, Canister. Worst Neighbor, 30 months. Thank you, welcome back. I imagine they're just getting Boseiju bounce land here. It's probably going to get me. Gonna play Gruul or Jund Delirium this week. I was amazed how good Flytrap works. Love to see you play it. Yeah, that deck was so fun. So they're getting a Crumbling Vestige to haste their Titan. It'd be pretty tough for them to kill me this turn. Although, How much? I don't think they can cast a ring with this floating mana either, right? The ring costs 6 mana, and then they're gonna have 5 after they haste the Titan. So I don't know if this colorless mana does anything. Might be missing something. Yeah, I think they're trying to cast a second ring, but they can't haste this Titan and cast a second ring. I think they forgot about the endurance they cast. Okay. Instead, they've just opted to cast the ring. So what's kind of interesting is if I play Fulminator Mage out, then I can kill the Boseiju that they get off the Titan before it gets bounced back to their hand. Now, unfortunately, I can only play one spell this turn, because I didn't draw land. But this does flip over, and can maybe help me fill up the yard, maybe double block the Titan. I think that just Fulminator Maging the Boseiju has got to be my best line, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be a winning line. I think could potentially not after first strike damage to survive. I mean, maybe. I don't know if they're playing any double strikers. They are playing, so they're playing a mirror pool here. Do I guess I just need to kill this, right? Because this is going to allow them to copy a Titan and kill and get Boseiju. And so I don't know that I'm gonna be able to like survive. So if they go like they go Titan, bounce and Boseiju with 3 amulets. They make green colorless, untap, bounce the Boseiju, Boseiju my Damping Sphere, and then they make 4 more mana, which is enough for them to Woodland copy Analyst, but not enough for them to not enough for them to activate the Analyst. All right, I'm gonna kill this. It might not be correct. It's a tough spot, obviously. So starting off with a Lumra, and then they can mirror pool the Titan, Boseiju the Damping Sphere, and go off. Okay, let's back it in. Tough stuff. All right, 3-2 this league. Not bad for chat reviewed. Worst deck ever built. I'm going to do one more. I'm having a lot of fun. Lots of fun.